What's going on, everybody? Coming to you straight from J.R.Heller headquarters. My name is Josh.
Logan.
And today we're going to talk to you about the sales process and what that looks like and what some important tools are to make sure that you close each and every deal that comes across your table. Logan, you want to start off?
Yeah. We have a very large variety of different tools that we use to acquire leads. And obviously the biggest one's going to be relationships. Referrals is awesome. We do a lot of PPC here, Facebook, Google ads, trying to get people in the door. So that way they're direct for us. We don't buy lead lists and things like that, although we will go out and, on the real estate side of things, get, absentee owner lists and those sort of things to try and find deals for, ourselves and our investors. But with Josh being in the mortgage business and then, a lot of our agents just getting into the industry, we're getting a lot of buyer leads. We're getting a lot of people trying to get pre-approved. So they're actually clicking on our link, come straight to our website, and, we get their information real time, name, phone number, email, their approximate monthly payment of what they're looking for, like what they're looking to purchase, the value of, and then also their credit score. So we kind of get some details right away. You want to be following up and calling on those leads. So biggest thing is going to be the time to touch that lead and make sure that, you get in front of that right away and create that relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously to have a sales cycle, the first thing that you need is a lead, right? You can't even begin the process until you have a lead, and you want a ton of leads. You want as many leads as you possibly can. And then basically what you're doing from that point is, like Logan said, your initial contact. You want to touch that lead as quickly as possible for a couple of reasons. You don't want them typically, especially if it's a lead coming in from like an online platform like Google or Facebook, they're not just looking at you. They're clicking and filling out forms with 7 other of your competitors. And so you want to make sure that you are the first one that they talk to, because realistically, most people go with the first person that they talk to, not necessarily the best product or offer. It's usually the first person they talk to.
It comes into play there too. I mean, the way that our system's designed is it makes sure that, even if I'm on another call or in a meeting, it's sending a text message immediately to make sure that, we're just touching them. It's personalized, saying, hi, my name is Logan, and, introducing myself and the company as to, hey, we're here for you. What are your needs?
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, definitely, first contact is very important. It is definitely just the first step in the journey, but it is very important because you want to create a relationship with these people and get in contact with them. Once they hear you, talk to them on the phone, you create a little bit of rapport. Now, they're more willing or likely to work with you and stop calling your competitors and trying to get a solution to their problem from somewhere else, right?
And like you said, so obviously, typically they'll work with the first person they talk to, but taking that one step further, the method that we have and the system that we have, when they're filling out that form, we get their information while they're still filling out the form.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of times where if I'm available and I get a new lead in, and the second they come in, we're talking within seconds. They're like, they pick up the phone and they're like, who are you? I'm still filling out this form. It's like, yeah, that's a great way to show efficiency and show that you're all on your game and on top of it, and that there's a high likelihood that they're going to end up working with you.
Yep, speed to lead is key. Yep. So that's the first step, and then obviously, in most situations, I would say almost all, you're not going to close a deal the first time you talk to somebody, right? So that's where having a good CRM, customer relation management tool, is imperative, because the more leads you have, the more people in your pipeline, the harder it is to keep track of when and if you need to make a second call, a third call, a 7th call, right? And where they are in the process. And so you're moving a lead down a pipeline to initial close or to an eventual close, right? So you got to think of it as, this is almost like your inventory system. Not saying people are inventory, but it's kind of like an inventory system. You have to keep track of each of your products on where they're at in the life cycle, right? So that's why it becomes very important to make sure that all of your leads and all of the people, all your clients are categorized as where they are in what stage of the process, the sales process, and you're moving them along. And each time you move them along, it should trigger another set of tasks or things for you to do to make sure that you're following up and moving them along to their eventual sale endpoint goal, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big thing that I harp on to our guys on the team here is like, let's qualify the lead, you know, even if they don't want anything to do with us and they're not looking to purchase a property or sell a property or get pre-approved or, you know, they might tell us to screw off. I'm okay with that and I welcome that. So we know, hey, we don't want to bother you anymore, and we put it at a do not contact, and now it's done.
Yep.
I need leads that are sitting kind of in that, you know, weird middleman category, and you're like, you know, what's going on with this? I asked one of my guys, hey, what's going on with, you know, Sandra? And they're like, oh, I don't know. She doesn't answer the phone. Well, all right, let's continue to hound that until we figure out if she's ready to move forward in the process or if she doesn't want anything to do with it.
Well, and you need to have a clear process with that, because you need to clear out the dead wood, because if you're not, then you're just going to get lethargic and get bombarded because you have all of these people sitting in there, and it's like, what do you focus on, right? So you need to go through them all, and like Logan said, even if it's a no or you can't service them, we need to flush that out. We need to figure that out so that we can close out that file and stop looking at it, right? I do the same thing with loans and loan apps. A majority, probably 90% of loan apps that I get are 50% or 20% filled out, right? Well, so I'll try and call them 2-3 times and get the rest of the information. If I don't hear back by the end of the week, your loan app's getting closed out for incompleteness. And then that starts them on a whole nother process where I can be hands off and I don't have to focus on it anymore, which is the CRM following up with them saying, hey, we had to close your loan out because you didn't complete it. You know, if you want to log back in, finish it up, great. You know, hop on a call, we can finish it for you, see about getting you pre-approved, right? But at that point, it's off my desk and the automation kicks in and tries to revive them. Right. So don't be sitting with old dead leads that you haven't talked to. You know, you've tried to call them 10 times and you're just not doing anything with them. Move them out of your pipeline. Move them into the other portion of the pipeline that's automated.
Definitely. Yeah, and so I don't know a ton about the mortgage side of the business and what you can do for reoccurring revenue, but I know what I tell all my guys. I mean, if you're working off of referrals, which is, you know, the best way to do things, that's, you know, the best way to have the strong leads coming in, but working off of referrals, working off of, you know, internet, you know, PPC leads, whatever your book of business is, if you're going to be a real estate salesperson, talking specific to real estate right now, the rest of your life, unless you build some really strong core partners that you're working with. If you have a few strong investors that are doing multiple deals a year and you're passing those deals to them and providing value to them, then you have a real estate business, because then you have recurring revenue. You have people that you know and trust, and they know and trust you, and you guys are constantly doing business together. I don't know. Is there something like that on the mortgage side where you can establish core partners and have recurring revenue?
Yeah, well, obviously your biggest partners in a mortgage side are going to be a realtor. They're going to be a builder. You know, they're going to be, I mean, they could potentially even be like an insurance agent, lawyer, right? So it's very important to establish business relationships, because even other mortgage loan officers, actually, a buddy of mine sent me one yesterday because he had a product that he couldn't do. He couldn't do a non-warrantable condo. And so he sent it over to me. He asked if I could do it, and I said yes. And he said, okay, here you go. So even other, you know, people in your space, in your industry can be assets, right? You look at it from the real estate side, as far as like investors and wholesalers, man, they JV all the time. They joint venture every day. That's why they do the RIAs and stuff, right? Yep. So don't look down or, you know, forget to make relationships with your competition, because they can be a big source of business for you as well. But I like to say, I think it's very important to attack both sides. So I think it's very important to have a presence to your consumer direct, so that you're not relying on those relationships. But obviously, if you can leverage a relationship like that's repeat, like a realtor for the mortgage industry, you know, that's obviously a good idea as well, right? You want to do both.
So we have method of finding leads. That's step one. You got to find a way to acquire leads, whether it's through referrals, whether it's through partners, whether it's through internet or, you know, mailers or whatever it may be. You need to have some sort of acquisition.
Yep.
Once you acquire the lead, and then it's first touch.
Yep.
Touch it as quickly as possible, and then follow up. Money's in the follow up.
Money is in the follow up, and
that's where you're and close your deals.
And that's really, you know, once you're in the follow-up stage, it'll either get to one or two tipping points, right? It'll get to the tipping point of you realize, okay, this lead isn't ready at this time, right? And then they get moved into long-term follow-up, or they say, okay, yeah, we're ready to move forward, and they become a client. And then you get into fulfillment, which is delivering said good product, service, whatever it is, your industry you're in. And then that, you know, creates obviously a whole new set of tasks and things that must be done, right? Again, moving them down the pipeline. So basically you move them into client now, right? And whatever your process of client looks like will obviously differ depending on what industry you're in. But for us in particular, being, you know, realtors and mortgage loan officers, it is, you know, showing properties, getting properties booked for showings, or listing said property if it's a seller, getting it ready to hit the market, open houses, staging, offers, you know, negotiations, paperwork. And then it moves more into the loan side, which is, you know, well, you could say getting pre-approved if they're a buyer, getting all their docs in place, getting them then eventually, once the property's under contract, through underwriting, through processing, and ultimately clear to close and closing on the property. So it's a real estate in general is a very long sales process. It's one of the longest sales processes you can have.
And one of the biggest things is after you close it, you still follow up.
Absolutely.
It's on birthdays, holidays, anniversaries. You know, you want to stay in front of that lead forever. You know, if you build a relationship with them and it was a good relationship, you want to keep that relationship forever, because again, you know, you're going to work off of referrals. And taking it one step further, they might want to buy an investment property from you one day. They might want to refinance their property one day. They might need to sell their property and either upgrade or downgrade, you know, and you want to be that go-to that, hey, they did such a good job, they went above and beyond, I need to call them because I need help.
And you know, even if you can't do that for every lead, as far as like pick up the phone and call them on their birthday or whatever, that's again where your CRM should have automations in it, where it's sending them a happy birthday email. You know, it's sending them a, hey, it's been a year since you purchased your property email anniversary, right? Like stuff like that. We literally on the mortgage side, I know every single holiday an email goes out, and they're all different, and it's for 10 years. For 10 years, they're in there already. And you would be amazed. You think people like open those, or like they just go to spam and don't look at them? I have gotten tens, if not hundreds, 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, all the way up to hundreds of emails back from people that said, hey Josh, thanks. Happy Easter to you too. Hope the family's doing well. Thanks again. You know, it's just staying top of mind. It's presence, right? Over a long period of time. You want to make sure if they have a buddy who says, you know, I'm thinking about purchasing a property, the first thing that they think of is you.
Yeah, if you're out of sight, then you're out of mind. I mean, why do you think we do what we do right now? You know?
Correct.
We're filming this video so we stay in front of you and everybody else in the industry and any potential clients, because we want to be the trusted.
Yeah, well, you can't do business with people who don't know you. Exactly. It's impossible. How are they going to find you, you know? So yeah, you know, it's important, and it's important to put yourself out there as much as possible. Again, with like making videos like this and just content creation, follow up, phone calls, text, emails, social media, in-face, lunches, networking events, you know, anything and everything, man. It's very important. You want to create relationships with people. And it's amazing too, because you create business relationships where first, primarily it's a business transaction, right? And you're helping the individual on the other side, and they're obviously helping you because you're getting compensated for it. But you would be surprised how many of those relationships can flourish into something that you would have never even thought would happen, that become a lot more personal. And then, you know, they can even become even bigger on the business side, because now you guys start doing other things together. So it's very important. Treat everybody as your equal, because they are. We're all humans. And, you know, have a good relationship with your leads, with your clients, and continue to follow up with them and stay up to date with them. Provide value, and they'll provide value back.
100%.
Yeah.
Well said.
So I think that's pretty good for this video. If there's anything you want us to cover, please like and comment below. And if you enjoyed today's video, please subscribe, hit the like or bell notification so you can be notified when we come up with new content. And thank you guys for watching.